Is it a fair multiple? Is it a fair valuation? This is one of the biggest questions that we get with first-time buyers starting their search and starting to look at different listings, especially going through what we call at the acquisition lab the Sabri curve, right? It's sort of like the academic portion of trying to identify and get your arms around the industry and what makes a good one. It's a problem because it's hard to understand, and it feels at times subjective. What's the difference between, you know, a 2.5 times multiple or a 6 times multiple? What are these differences, right? Instead of answering that question, what I want to do is you know, you probably are in a certain size in a certain industry, so I want to kind of bring it in and focus on trying to discern how important the multiple is of the company you're looking at, okay? This will help, I hope, give you clarity in terms of trying to figure out where to put the emphasis in making this decision, okay? When I was a kid, my father shared with me that he overpaid for the house that he bought, that I grew up in. And I don't remember specific numbers, but I think it was listed for sale at, you know, $100,000, and, you know, he paid $110,000 or $115,000, or maybe it was even $120,000. Some numbers like this. Maybe, you know, I was young. Who knows what the numbers were? But the point is he told me point blank he overpaid for it and he didn't mind. And when I asked him why, he said, because I'm going to live here for 30 years. Who cares about $10,000, okay? Even though it was a 10-15% price increase over the market value at that time. Sure enough, he's lived there for over 40 years at this point, right? And so what he paid for it 40 years ago is of no consequence today, okay? And your primary residence doesn't even generate money. It costs you money, okay? You can see where I'm going with this. Let me give you this example. I listed a business, as in my business broker hat, I listed a business last week, okay? We listed it at a 3.3 multiple. I thought I did a pretty darn good job with the valuation given, you know, what we call in the acquisition lab the 7 elements. And what we found was, it was a very popular listing. We got, you know, between 12 and 14 calls scheduled just in the first couple. Well, we got 10 calls scheduled in the first 4 hours, and then like a few more after that. I ended up shutting it down because we had too many buyers. In 48 business hours, we had 8 offers come in. All right, and the price got negotiated up. And when it got negotiated up about $100,000, okay, not about, slightly over $100,000. It looks like it's going to go under offer about there. It went from a 3.3 listing price to a 3.6 times. This is multiple, a 3.3x times SDE to a 3.6x, okay? People are willing to pay an extra $100,000 pushing that multiple up, okay? And you have to think, why? Why? Is it something external in terms of what's driving this valuation? I think there's a really strong parallel to how my dad thought about it. In this particular company, this is a business that's generating about $360,000 a year for its owner, okay? And the thing is it's being acquired with an SBA loan, okay, across all 8 of these buyers. Going from 1.2 to a 1.3 in round numbers is basically going to cost the buyer of the business $833 a month, okay? The business is generating $30,000 a month. How important is the multiple right now? It's kind of not, okay? When you're looking at you know, an acquisition entrepreneurship, when you look at, you know, like million to 2 or 3 or 4, you know, between $1 and $5 million acquisitions or sub-$1 million acquisitions, you can use, you know, a sort of discounted cash flow with a discount rate that's pretty darn high. In other words, you're going to be getting, if you pay a 3x for a business, that essentially means that you're getting 30% of your of your total purchase every year in cash flow. Okay? There's obviously risks that go along with the business, but what I want you to understand is that when you look at the margin of safety that comes with buying businesses with historical performance, it's strong. But they're small and they're risky and they're active. You have to do it. You have to do the work, right? That's what makes it so great. It's your vehicle. The thing is that as you increase the transferability of a business, as you increase the margin of safety of a business, okay, whether that be in eliminating business risks or growth opportunities or whatever that thing is, okay, there's no specialized knowledge, low workload, whatever it is that increases the transferability of a business. And your margin of safety as a buyer, the multiple increases, the valuation increases. Okay? Talk to every single major search fund investor in the world, and they will tell you the same thing. Look for quality and pay for it. They don't get stuck on trying to figure out where this valuation came from. Okay? You need to figure out what's right for you. You need to figure out that every valuation in the private capital markets has a large degree of subjectivity to it, okay? And you have to understand that you're probably looking at, a 30% cash on cash return, okay? Which is better than any single asset class investment out there, period, right? So the thing is like, even if you're overpaying for a business, okay? In this case, it was $833 over $30,000 a month. That's I can't do that in my head. It's like it's less than 3%. Okay, it's like 2.5% of monthly income in order to get the business. Okay, this was a bidding situation, and so it was worth it to some of those buyers. Other buyers passed because they had a question or an issue with one aspect of the transferability that they thought was they read it as a single point of failure. Good for them. They made the right decision for them. Would they have bought it at, a 2x? Probably. Okay. You start lowering the purchase price of a quality business, and it's going to go really fast. In this particular case, the market they told us, hey, this is actually worth a little bit more, right? And the thing is that, whether it's a 2x or it's a 3.5, yeah, that's meaningful, okay? But if it's a 3.3 to a 3.6 or, these things, you're putting the emphasis on the wrong question. The right question is, what's it worth to me? Is this a business I can grow? Is this a business that I can identify the business risks and understand the imperfections of the business and the imperfections of me as a buyer, and do they line up, right? Does it have the right infrastructure for me to make this mine and grow your business into the future?